Let's move on now, and the protests in Iran are now in their third week. A US-based human rights group says the death toll from the security forces' crackdown has crossed 2,500 mark. Iranian state television, in a broadcast on Tuesday, offered the first official acknowledgement of deaths in protests, quoting an official saying there was a high number of martyrs and that it did not release at all earlier because of the dead suffering gruesome injuries. However, the statement came only after the rights groups reported their toll. It also released footage said to show the scenes of aftermath of protests in several major cities. The images depicted buildings on fire, burned vehicles, and damaged banks.
They burnt almost 50 vehicles, buses, private cars, and emergency vehicles.
President Trump, in a post on Truth Social, urged people to continue protesting and called on them to take over government institutions, assuring help was on the way. When asked what he meant by help was on its way, Trump declined to clarify. The US president also said that nobody has been able to give him an accurate number for how many protesters have been killed in recent demonstrations.
Heard numbers from everything's a lot, one is a lot. But I've heard numbers much lower and I've heard numbers much higher. We'll be knowing, we're probably going to find out over the next 24 hours. I think it's a lot.
In an interview with CBS later in the day, he warned that a deadly crackdown on protesters would bring a lot of problems for the country's leadership.
We don't want to see what's happening in Iran happen. And, you know, if they want to have protests, that's one thing. When they start killing thousands of people, and now you're telling me about hanging, we'll see how that works out for them. It's not going to work out good.
Reports suggest Israeli and Arab officials have privately suggested that U.S. to hold back on large-scale strikes. They believe the Iranian regime may not yet be weakened to the point where U.S. military strikes will be the decisive blow that topples it. There are also reports doing the rounds that Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff has secretly met the son of Iran's ousted Shah, Reza Pahlavi, to discuss the protests. As ambiguity prevails over U.S.'s next action, Iran's United Nations ambassador Amir Saeid Iravani has written to the United Nations Security Council. In the letter, he has accused Trump of encouraging political destabilization, inciting violence, and threatening the country's sovereignty, territorial integrity, and national security. The letter says the United States, along with Israel, bore direct and undeniable legal responsibility for the loss of innocent civilian lives, particularly among the youth. UGC images posted on social media show dozens of bodies lying at the Forensic Diagnostic Center of Tehran province, Karizak, as grieving relatives search for their loved ones.